Hi guys, welcome to a little edition of Coffee Chat. So first off, I'd like to announce I'm actually making TS9 clones, and this is, I'm not selling anything here at the moment. These are TS9 clones. I'm doing some tweaks on them. If you know about the tweaks and the TS9, the Tube Screamer, you'll know what I'm talking about. It happened. It was all over the gear page, and people getting angry with these so-called boutique pedals, and all they were clones of these things. And I'm basically doing the same tweaks. This is called the Goose Pedal. It's not for sale at the moment. May never be. I'm just making these for some good friends of mine, just experimenting with the circuit. But what I'd like to ask you guys is, tell me what you like about a Tube Screamer. Tell me what you don't like about a Tube Screamer. Tell me what you think can be improved, okay? And that's why I'm asking you guys about this, because I'm just going to make 20 prototypes of these. Various tweaks, various ideas. If you can give me any ideas, what you sort of like, what you don't like, that's going to be amazing. Okay guys, so Aplogies versus Filmosound projector amp is making a horrendous noise like a Force 9 gale on the North Sea. I'm using a Tone Nugget Crucial Audio vacuum tube booster today. Really like these. It says 1 amp, I'm only feeding it 500 milliamps, but it seems to work. So this guitar here, quite a bright guitar now. It's got the Callaham brass saddles. Let's check it out. So, you know, it's a bright guitar. I've got everything. Oh, I dialed in a bit of the cap here. So this is full on. You know, it's quite bright, quite snappy. It's got all those kind of good Telecaster things. It could work on your guitar if your guitar is a little bit muddy and dark. It could be that the solution would be to put some Callaham brass saddles, you know. They give you a bit of a zing, a bit of a brightness. I'm not saying they work every time with every guitar. It's down to your guitar, you know. You need to know what it sounds. You know, what your guitar acoustically with these is going to sound remarkably different. I mean, you know, people talk about pickups and strings and all kinds of things. But really, I think on a Telecaster, because it's such a simple instrument, the saddles really make a big difference. So, you know, it might just be. You can see it's very, very sort of bright, and it might work sort of with arpeggios. So we're really horrendously out of tune here. So, yeah. Yeah, so that's the Glendale brass saddles. They're not too expensive, and they're compensated as well. You can see that, compensated, so they're pretty good. This is a Goto standard vintage sort of style bridge plate, but they work together. The Goto and the Callaham sound nice together. So that's quite a bright guitar now. Now, originally that guitar had some Glendale saddles, which is the kind of focus of this video. The comparison between the two. So this guitar here has got Glendale bridge plate and brass Glendale saddles. So this is all Glendale, okay? So this guitar really does sound good. I'm going to be on the back pickup. It's a Don Mayer pickup. So you would initially think that this being a blackguard, it would be brighter than the thin line. But in actual fact, it's kind of like, it doesn't sound so trebly. Doesn't have those harsh highs that the thin line had with the Callaham bridge saddles. And I put these guitars through various saddles, changed a lot of the saddles. And let me tell you guys, it makes a huge difference. The saddles really do make a difference on the Telecaster. And these Glendale saddles has taken off some of that high end. And you know, these are brass saddles, as you can see. And the Callaham are brass saddles, so it's kind of interesting that these two different companies are obviously using different alloys or variations of brass composition to make these things, and they're sounding different. So just tune up. Sorry, my tuning. So you can kind of see there that, you know, there is a huge difference in the sort of the low end and the top end. I think if I had to choose one over the other, I would probably choose the Glendales. If I had to, if I was stuck with one or the other. I think I need to set the intonation on these, but yeah, it really does work in this sort of, I think it sounds really vintage, and you know, you don't have to dial in that capacitor so much. You can really just ride everything flat out. Very sort of much more mellow sort of sound. So, you know, this is kind of like, what would if you gave me some Glendales and you gave me some Callahams, I think I would take the Glendales. You know, that's just my opinion. You know, it would work for me better with my equipment. But you know, again, this is down to your guitar. What does your guitar sound like? You know, what strings are you going to put on there? You know, and so the Glendale brass saddles, they really do work on this style of guitar. I just want to talk about the cap. Okay, so I'm going to just flip between these two guitars again. So this is the way I use a capacitor. So that's completely full on. That's the other way. And what I'm doing, I'm searching for that point where just the capacitor just starts to come in. So it's probably just about there. That's it. It just cuts off those really sort of harsh frequencies. So this has got a Japanese cap in there, which is like a big grey thing. And this one here has got a Cornell Doublier, a big green thing. So let's just hear that cap as well. So this is full on. You can really hear how brighter that is. So I'm going to bring the cap in. So if you just play a note, normally the G string is good. So that's, you know, it's generally a little bit more with depending on the kind of cap, you sometimes have to dial it in a bit more, but I just use it just to take that high harshness out, really, rather than make it into a jazz, you know, jazz sound. I just use it there. That's nice, and then you can use your plectrum control to, you know, to dial out any other sort of unwanted sort of squawking sort of noises. But yeah, so that's just how I use a cap. And again, the capacitor, what you really want to do, if you want to be really analytical about this, is get some crocodile clips and literally a couple of crocodile clips and then put them to the capacitor, even you can change the end of the capacitor in order to dial that cap, depending, so not dial, but choose the right capacitor for the guitar. Because this is the thing, just like the saddles, the capacitor is the same, guys. You can't just say I like the green ones because they're nice colour, or you can't say I like this because this is what in this guitar they use this, so it must be right. No, you need to try different caps and find out which ones react with this guitar and makes it, because even though the cap is not in circuit as you think, it is in circuit. It's always in circuit, so it's going to change subtly the sound of the guitar. I know people are going to say, well, but for me, I especially on the Telecaster, I use it cap a lot. I never have the tone full on, so especially on this guitar here. I really need to dial that cap in to make this guitar workable. I couldn't, if it was flat open, it wouldn't sound good, so. And that sounds really, really nice now. So hopefully that's just given you a little bit of inspiration to maybe just check out the saddles on your guitar. And also the capacitor. Think about those two things. Maybe you have, Telecasters are very, very simple guitars, and so it's worth changing things to get the desired sound that you want. Maybe you want high end. Maybe you don't even want to use a capacitor. You want to go straight through. And there's that option as well. But just having these brass Callaham, which are very, very bright saddles. I really need a good cap just to get that, sort of mellowness that on that note, that high note. I just wanted to just make it a bit more blunt, a bit nicer to the ears. Yeah. So there you go. Hopefully this video has been useful. I'm going to be back, guys, very soon. I think we're doing a history of guitars video next week. You're going to love it. Somebody's been asking me to do a certain guitar player. It was his birthday last week. Probably guess who it is. I'm finally going to get around to doing it this week, or next week rather. So stay tuned. God bless everyone. Stay safe. Take care. Goose signing out.